Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the NBA slate for Saturday. Happy Saturday to everybody watching. I will just have a chance to make a basketball video today. I won't have a chance to make a baseball video. So if you want to play baseball later, check out Twitter. I'll have some picks and stacks that I like. But wanted to go ahead and touch on this NBA slate for you guys, so let's get right into it. As always, really appreciate you guys. Hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Twitter for updates at the DFS process, and let's get started. So looking at the point guard options, Westbrook is 10-9. Bradley Beal is quote-unquote uncertain for tonight's game if he ends up sitting. Definitely going to want to consider Westbrook. Then Kyrie is 10-4 against the Lakers. Kind of a high price tag for me, especially with Durant back. Durant only played like 18 minutes off the bench. Probably will be limited for a little bit at least. So I don't think Durant's in play at that price tag, but it just takes a little bit away from Kyrie even though Harden is out. I don't think I'll go to 10-4 for Kyrie Irving. I think you can save $1,000 and go to Damian Lillard pretty easily. Fox is always a nice tournament option, especially when he gets tough matchups because people go other ways, like instead of playing him. Whereas I like try to get him in there if I can, and people aren't going to play him against Utah, so I think it's a good spot to go to De'Aaron Fox. He's been so good every single game, basically. Gives you such a high ceiling, and hopefully, Sacramento can stay in this game, and if they do, it's going to be because of De'Aaron Fox. Mitchell's 8,800. He had two of his better games recently, back-to-back games. He had 50 and 57. Shot the ball very well in both, even though he shot poorly from three-point distance against the Blazers. Still put up 50. He's in play. It's a great spot against Sacramento. It should be a super fast-paced game for the Jazz. Ben Simmons 82. I don't think I'll get to him. I don't want to get to 8K for Chris Paul. I'd rather take a shot on John Wall. He's $7,900. He took the day off yesterday, and he finally had a good shooting game. Maybe sitting for a couple of games kind of helped his legs or something. I don't know if something was going on with his knee, but he finally got back to what we would have expected a couple days ago on the 7th against the Mavs when he shot 50+% from the floor and he put up 56. If he has a good shooting game again, he's going to hit value. He plays solid minutes now that he's no longer on a restriction. Got the day off yesterday on a back-to-back, so he should be having some fresh legs against this Warriors team that doesn't really play good defense. They were really bad recently in terms of just like giving up a lot of points. And Wall plays at a pretty good like defensive guy. Can get you some steals, a couple blocks, and he has the ball in his hands a ton. He gets a lot of assists. So at $7,900, it's definitely a spot where I want to consider going to John Wall in this favorable spot. So he's probably my favorite point guard option. If you wanted to go cheaper, you can go to Dennis Schroeder at $7,000. You can go to Theo Maledon at $5,600. And I will see about Kyle Lowry if he plays or not. And then on the Pistons side, they are down a couple of guys. No Jeremy Grant, no Ellington, and then potentially no Plumlee. So I'll go ahead and put in a guy like Corey Joseph at the shooting guard position. I feel like a couple of these Pistons will have a decent game at least. They play a lot of bodies even with guys out, so it's tough to kind of pin down multiple guys that you think will go off. But I do like Joseph. They do like him since they brought him in from Sacramento, and they gave him 32 minutes, which was one of the highest on the team last time out. He played very good against his former team, and now he's going up against Portland, so he should be in the starting lineup again with no Ellington and no Grant tonight. Hopefully he gets you at least high 20s, low 30s in minutes, and 4K price tag, I think I have more confidence in him hitting value than like a Dennis Smith or a Killian Hayes or Frank Jackson. So Joseph, 4K is probably the way I'll look to at my shooting guard spot. Other highlights at this position, it's definitely Donovan Mitchell, $8,800. You could look to Buddy Hield at sub 6K at 58, but I'd rather go to Fox if I was going to target anybody on the Kings. I like Norman Powell at only 55. Price tag is come down a bit. He plays big minutes for the team, and he can hit value. He takes a lot of shots as well, even with Lillard and McCollum shooting a bunch. So those three take a ton of shots for the team. Not really looking at Svi. You could look to Josh Jackson as a GPP option. He looks better on FanDuel. And that's kind of it. We'll have to take a wait-and-see approach on some of these value on the Toronto side, depending on Kyle Lowry news. Small forward, it is Tobias at 8,100 and Ben Simmons, two Sixers at the top of the position. I'd rather go down to Kyle Kuzma if he does play against Brooklyn. There's no Grant today, so looking even cheaper here, you can look to Kelly Oubre, Pokusevski, both guys at pretty solid price points. I'd lean to Oubre out of the two. In the 5K range, you have Bridges at only $5,100. Good price tag, great matchup. Powell, you could play him at small forward. And then you have kind of it for the main guys. And then for value, Bradley started last game, but he should go back coming off the bench with John Wall back tonight. Bembry would be a good play. If there is no Kyle Lowry, he would be probably one of my favorite value plays. Power forward, I love Durant, but I don't think I can get to him if he's going to be limited to like 20, 22 minutes. So I will pass unless we get some sort of upgrade on his minutes. Siakam is fine, but if Lowry comes back, he's probably not a must-play. Looking a little bit cheaper, you can go to OG. He's nicely priced at only $6,600. I like Kevin Love a bit. It gives you a nice tournament upside. I feel like his minutes are going to go up one of these games. Played 23, 26, 23. Only played 23 in his 27-point blowout win against the Thunder. If that game was a little bit closer, it probably would have closed and pushed closer to 27, 28 minutes. And this is a spot against Toronto whose defense has really fallen off. Kevin Love still gives you a big-time ceiling, so he would be a guy I'd consider. I like him more than Pokusevski, probably Olynyk, Oubre. I think you can look to Covington as well at 5,700. But the value piece I like again is going to be Saddiq Bey. Just have to consider him without Jeremy Grant. He played 35 minutes, which is a lot higher than he has been playing with Grant in the lineup. So should expect mid to high 30s for him again today. Shot the ball not too well, only 4 of 11. Didn't really get you any, besides 6 rebounds, didn't have any assists or a couple of steals in there. But I feel like that was kind of a floor game for him without Grant. He has the upside, as we've seen, to put up 30, 35, 40. They can get hot from shooting, and he's a guy that on the season is shooting almost 38% from 3, so he does have a nice 3-point stroke. Moving on to center, it would be Isaiah Stewart would be a great play if we know the Plumlee news. See if that game is the later game, so I mean you might just leave one of your spots open. But I like Drummond at $6,500 against Brooklyn. He should be a great spot. Brooklyn can't stop anybody in the paint, especially centers. They gave up big games against them. Played 27 minutes, even though he left the game briefly to go to the locker room, and he was in foul trouble with 5 fouls. I really like Drummond at this favorable price tag. But my favorite is going to be Enes Kanter at 59. There is no Nurkic today, so Kanter should go back to playing 30-plus minutes at the center position, probably closer to 33, 35 minutes against Pistons, who play Stewart and hopefully Plumlee plays, so they get at least a 7-footer out there at all times. So it's definitely going to be Kanter at that price tag. It's going to be Drummond at $6,500 to put in at my utility. And then mentioned De'Aaron Fox. I think he just gives you a lot of upside. So if you're going to play a lot of chalk, you can go with a lower owned option. Go with a guy like Fox, who's at a good price tag, and we've seen him put up 60, high 50s many times this year. So those are it for the DK picks. I'll quickly touch on FanDuel. FanDuel starting off at point guard. Westbrook has 11-3. That will be dependent on Bradley Beal news. If he's out, you can look to Westbrook. You have a lot of other potential guys you can look to, though, with Steph Curry at 10K, Fox at 94, Damian Lillard at only 9,000. Chris Paul is priced up to 88, so I don't think I'll get to him. I'd probably rather go to John Wall, or maybe Dennis Schroeder at $7,000. Then if Lowry is in, he would be a fine option at $6,200, especially with no Van Fleet still. I don't think I'll get to Corey Joseph on FanDuel at $5,100. That price tag is kind of high. So definitely, you could look to maybe look to Hayes or Smith if you wanted to go with one of these Pistons guards, but I don't think you wanted to. I don't think you really kind of want to do the guessing game on FanDuel. At least on DraftKings, are a lot cheaper. But the first guy I'll plug in here on FanDuel is going to be John Wall, 8,700. Shooting guard, it's really not a ton of spend ups. It's Donovan Mitchell and Booker as your two guys to consider, and then you also have McCollum at 81. But I probably lean to Mitchell over McCollum. I don't really want to pay 7K for Wiggins or Colin Sexton here. Don't think the 6K range looks that appealing unless there's no Lowry. You can look to Trent. 5K range also isn't the best. Looking down to Josh Jackson at $4,500. I just think he can, he gives you a lot of upside for GPPs, and that is probably what a lot of you guys are playing right now, at least with just how crazy the NBA has been. But his minutes are going to be around 25-ish at least. I think he has upside if he's playing well to get you closer to 30. No Ellington today will help him. Will help just the guards get a little bit extra minutes. And without Grant, there's just nobody that will really drive the offense. I mean, he only put up 10 points, but we've seen him, as we saw a couple weeks ago, or a week and a half ago against the Wizards. He can have those big games, and without Grant, I just feel like it's a spot where it definitely could happen, and people might not play him. Small forward, don't think you can go to Durant at 93. I don't really want to go to OG at 77, at least on this slate. Rather go down to Kevin Porter at $6,600, or you can go to a Rui if there is no Beal at $5,800, or you can even look to Bridges / Saddiq Bey. Both guys are nicely priced, $5,400 and $5,600. Sticking with a couple of Pistons today, I'm going to go with Saddiq Bey. At least Bays, you know his minutes are going to be at least 30, 32, 34, potentially up to like 36, 37. Good, fine spot against Portland. Should be fast paced. Hopefully Pistons can stay in that game. Power forward at Siakam and Christian Wood as your two main pay-up options. Siakam, if there is no Lowry, is fine. If there is Lowry, then it probably won't get to him. Wood is at a fine price tag, $7,800, but with John Wall back, that will take a little bit of usage away from him. I can go down a bit to like a Covington at 59, Kevin Love at 58, Pokuševski 56. I like this 5K range filled with like 3 or 4 guys that give you a lot of upside. And then they priced up Hartenstein and they priced up Dean Wade, so if I was going to target any of those guys, it would be Kevin Love. And you could look to Stewart, but they kind of priced him up a little bit, but if there is no Plumlee, he would be in play. But I like Covington, especially on FanDuel, where you get those extra points for blocks and steals, and he's a guy that racks up multiple of those at basically every single game. So, especially against the Pistons, who could turn their ball over with playing all these young guards, I think it's a spot where Covington can have another very good game, especially without Nurkic, so maybe we'll get some more rebounding opportunities tonight. And then last but not least, at center, probably go cheap at center today. Embiid, oops. You have Gobert against the Kings at 86. That is a good price tag. See, Embiid has a Q tag. We'll see if he ends up playing or not. I mean, they could hold Embiid out today against the Thunder. We'll see. If he is out, then definitely play some of these Sixers guys. But assuming Embiid's in, I'll go cheap at center. And you can look to like Drummond at only $6,100. Holmes is a 65. Boucher is 65. Boucher looks good if there's no Lowry. But Kanter's only 5K, especially without Nurkic. That price tag just sticks out a lot. I'll go with Kanter for now. And that's basically it for the video. So thank you guys for watching. Best of luck tonight. As always, stay tuned for updates, especially if Embiid is out. There'll definitely be some changes here. But thanks for watching, and good luck tonight.